students, welcome back. Let us start with the part 2 of unit 1 of educational psychology subject, that is introduction to educational psychology. The next question, that is question number 13, is what is longitudinal study and when is it used? Okay. As we know, human development is a continuous process that takes place from birth to old age. That is, it takes place from womb to tomb. Very important point for your entrance examination, for your competitive exams. Okay, educational psychologists are most interested in understanding how these changes will affect the physical growth, intelligence, language, personality, emotions, and social behavior over the time. Okay, so to study these changes scientifically, the psychologists use various developmental research methods. So one of the most important and reliable method to study these changes is the longitudinal study method. Okay, other methods will compare different individuals of different ages. Okay, different individuals of different ages. Whereas a longitudinal study will follow the same individuals over a long period of time. Okay, same individuals over a long period of time. Okay, in order to observe how they develop. Okay, so this provides more accurate picture of growth and development. We have seen this longitudinal study in the previous video. Okay, so longitudinal study is a research method where same individuals are studied repeatedly over a long period of time. Okay, we have seen this previously. Okay, what are the characteristics? Same individuals are studied. It is conducted over a long period of time. Repeated observations are conducted and it studies the developmental changes. It is detailed and comprehensive and it is scientific. What are the objectives? It studies growth and development, studies individual differences, identifies developmental patterns, studies the factors that are affecting the development and predicts future development. Okay, future development prediction can happen here. So these are the steps. That is, first participants are selected, next data is collected, then repeated observations are conducted, then if any changes are there, then those changes are recorded, analysis of data happens, and then finally conclusions are drawn. Okay, when is a longitudinal study used? Whenever the researcher wants to understand changes over a particular period of time. Okay, it is used to study physical development, intellectual development, language development, personality development, emotional development, social development, and it is also used to evaluate educational programs to identify learning difficulties. What are its advantages? Direct study of development, first-hand study of development, accurate information, detailed information can be gathered, and it helps to identify developmental trends. Okay, and it is useful for prediction of the future developmental pattern, and it helps in understanding causes and effect. These are the limitations, that it is time consuming over a long period of time, no, so it consumes a lot of time. It is expensive, and since it is conducted over a long period of time, there is a every chance that the participants may drop out. It is difficult to manage, and researcher bias may occur. Changes in the environment may occur. Okay, so this is the educational importance of longitudinal study, and I have provided a small differentiation between longitudinal and cross-sectional study. Next one, what are the different schools of psychology? Discuss their contributions to education, basic concepts, principles, and impact on educational thought and practice. Okay, so psychology did not develop all at once. Okay, it happened in various stages. Okay, so there are different psychologists who try to explain human behavior, learning, thinking, and personality from different viewpoints. As a result of this, several schools of psychology emerged. So, what are schools of psychology? It is a group of psychologists who share similar ideas about how human behavior and mental processes should be studied and explained. Okay, what are the major schools of psychology? Structuralism, functionalism, associationism, behaviorism, gestalt psychology, psychoanalysis school, and humanistic psychology. So these are the various schools of psychology that have emerged over the period of time. The first school is structuralism. Who is the founder of structuralism? William Wundt. So William Wundt is also called as the father of experimental psychology. This you have to remember. Who is the founder of experimental psychology? William Wundt. Okay, this was later developed by Edward Titchener. Okay, what is the basic concept of structuralism? It understands the structure of the human mind by breaking the mental experiences into basic elements. So, it will identify how the human mind is made. Okay, according to structuralism, the mind is consisting of three important parts: sensation, feelings, and images. Okay, as we have already seen, these structuralists, they break the mental experiences into basic elements. So what are those basic elements? Sensations, feelings, and images. Okay, so the main method that is followed by structuralists is introspection method. We already know introspection is observing one's own thoughts or thinking inwards. Okay, so here the individuals examined and reported their own mental experiences. So they are thinking inwards. Okay, what are the contributions? It emphasized on the scientific study of mental processes. It laid foundation for modern psychology, and it encouraged systematic observation of learning experiences. Okay, um, what is the main limitation? It focused only on conscious experience, that is, it focused on only on the theoretical part of the mind, and it ignored practical aspects of the behavior. How the person is thinking from within only they have observed, but how the person is behaving, that is practical behavior of the person, is ignored. Okay, next one is functionalism. The main psychologists of this particular school are William James, John Dewey, and James Roland Angel. Okay, so functionalism mainly focuses on what does the mind do rather than what is the mind made of. So its focus is on the practical approach of the mind rather than theoretical approach. Okay, what does the mind do? That's a practical accept, a practical aspect rather than what is the mind made of. Okay, um, what are the main principles? It's the mind serves practical purposes. Okay, learning helps in adaptation. So once you learn, you have to adapt to your surroundings. Okay, behavior should be studied in real life situations. So all these are practical approaches. What are its educational contributions? First, child-centered education. Next, learning by doing. Then importance is given to the environment. The third important school of psychology is associationism. Okay, these are the four scientists who are the pioneers of this associationism. So what this particular associationism believed is learning occurs to the formation of associations. That means we are something like mind mapping. Okay, the mind connects one idea through experience. So association is nothing but it deals with connections that our mind makes. Okay, the experiences that our mind has. Okay, what are the main principles of this associationism? Repetition, practice, and association. Okay, so this particular school, it mainly focuses on drill and practice. It highlighted the importance of repetition, and it influenced memory training method. That means, in one word, if you have to tell, this associationism is nothing but rote learning method. Okay, it included repetition exercises, revision, and practice work to strengthen learning. So repeated learning. The next important school is behaviorism. These four are the psychologists who are responsible for, who are the pioneers of behaviorism school of psychology. So behaviorism mainly believed that psychology should only study the observable behavior. That is, whatever behavior we can see with our eyes, that only should be believed. Okay, they believe that learning is a change in behavior that has occurred due to experiences of that particular person. So, what are the important principles under this school? First, stimulus and response. That means behavior occurs in response to a particular stimulus. Then, reinforcement. Reinforcement means strengthening of a particular behavior by giving a lot of rewards. That means if you give more rewards to a student, then the performance of student will be increased. Then practice. Repeated responses will strengthen the learning. Then conditioning. Conditioning is exercising the mind. Okay. Learning occurs through conditioning processes. Okay. Then what are the educational contributions? They have contributed to the scientific study of the learning. Then reinforcement is one major contribution. Then programmed learning and classroom management. Next, we come to the Gestalt psychology. This has been evolved in Germany. So these three are the scientists who are the pioneers for Gestalt psychology. All of them are Germans. So what does Gestalt mean? Gestalt means whole or an organized pattern. Okay, they believe that mm, the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. That means rather than doing a work in parts, doing it completely will yield better results. Okay, here the learning, they believe that the learning occurs through understanding of the relationships. If you relate one concept to the other, then the learning will be better rather than memorizing separate pieces of information. So you learn the whole thing. So what they said is you learn the whole thing by understanding its relationship to some other linked concept rather than trying to memorize the. Okay, if you memorize, you will not remember it. Only if you understand its relationship with others, then only you will then only proper learning will occur. Okay, their principles are insight learning, perception of wholes. Okay, that means something should be studied as a whole. Then organization of the experiences. Then what are its educational contribution? Meaningful learning. Okay, students should understand the concepts rather than memorizing. Then problem solving. That is emphasis on reasoning and insight. Organization of the content. The learning materials, whatever are there, should be presented in an organized manner. Then the next one is psychoanalysis. The founder is Sigmund Freud. Okay, he believed that much of the human behavior is influenced by unconscious motives. That means your wishes or whatever you want, it happens unconsciously. So those unconscious thoughts or those unconscious motives will influence the human behavior. So human behavior is influenced by the unconscious motives and conflicts. Conflicts is the those conflicts that happen in the mind. Okay, whether you want this or that, whether that is better or this is better, that those are conflicts. Okay, those conflicts are the driving force for human behavior. Okay, important concepts are conscious mind, then preconscious mind and unconscious mind. Then the structure of personality that is given by them is id, ego, and superego. Okay, so there are three important concepts here, that is the conscious mind, the preconscious mind, and the unconscious mind. So, what is a conscious mind? The thoughts, feelings, and action that one person is currently aware of, currently experiencing. Okay, the thoughts, which a person is currently experiencing, like what thoughts I am having in my mind. That is conscious mind. What is preconscious mind? Um, Preconscious mind is the information that we bring from the past, that is memories, facts, etc. Okay, the information that we bring from the past into the conscious mind. Okay, that is a preconscious mind. Conscious mind is present. Preconscious mind is past, that is memories and facts that we have learned previously. We are bringing it from the preconscious state to the conscious state. And unconscious mind is the drives or the instincts or the trauma that a person is having within him. Okay, and these whatever these feelings, this trauma or desires or instincts are there within us, and unconsciously they are shown in our activities. Okay, for example, you have a person has a some past traumatic experience with relating to his parents or his siblings. So whenever he talks with his parents or whenever he talks with his siblings, he will unconsciously get reminded of that trauma. Okay. Or whenever or let's say one more example, a person is working in his office. Now, in his mind, he has a desire to get promoted. Okay, desire. So he will work in such a way that he will get promotion. Okay, he will put in a lot of effort. He will do a lot of hard work to get that promotion. So all these desires are there in the unconscious mind. That means they will not keep repeating in the mind that but they are always there in the background. Okay. Another three important aspects are the structure of personality. The ID, the ego, and the superego. What is ID? This ID is nothing but pleasure principle. Okay, that the um, immediate gratification or the immediate whatever we want immediately, that is a pleasure. Okay, it may be bodily related pleasures or it may be aggressive. You want to scold somebody immediately. You're angry on somebody and you will immediately scold him. Okay, that is a gratification of the senses. Okay, this I deals with the senses. Okay, then ego. What is ego? The ego is the reality principle. Okay, um, so so the ego is nothing but I first me, then others. Okay, first my pleasures have to be fulfilled, then others. I am great. That feeling of I is called ego. Okay, then the next one is the super ego. Okay, super ego is the moral conscience. Okay, what is moral conscience? Uh, the process of internalizing societal rules. Okay, so you are adjusting to the norms that are set by the society. That is defined as superego. So, id is the pleasure principle. That is the immediate, the gratification or the fulfillment of the immediate desires. Ego is the I am first, I am great. Okay, that is ego. What is superego? Superego is adjusting or internalizing the rules that are set by the society. Okay, these are the main structures of personality according to psychoanalysis. What are its educational contributions? Importance of emotions. Then individual differences. That means every child has unique emotional needs. Then mental health. This this uh, this one emphasized on emotional well-being in education, and it also emphasized on importance of guidance and counseling. Then the seventh one is Humanistic psychology, Abraham Maslow and Carl Rogers are the pioneers. What are the points that they have emphasized on? Human dignity, personal growth, self development, and self actualization. What is self actualization? Every individual will strive to realize their full potential. What am I capable of? That is self actualization. Freedom and choice. Then positive human nature. Then it emphasized on learner centered education. Okay, these are the impacts of this various schools. That is, it will understand the learners better. It will improve teaching methods. It will promote meaningful learning, and it will encourage guidance and counseling, and it will support inclusive education, and it will develop scientific educational practices. So I've given a quick revision here so that you will be able to recall what we have done. You can go through. And the next one is, what is structuralism? Explain the salient features. Okay. Now this William Wundt is the pioneer, or he's called the father of experimental psychology. Okay. This is the first school of psychology that was being established. Okay, this was first started by William Wundt, and it was later developed and it was organized in a proper way by his student Edward B. Titchener. Okay, now what is structuralism? It means structure. The word structure means arrangement or organization. So structuralists believe that just like a chemist who studies a substance by breaking it into basic elements, how will a chemist study? He will take a substance and he will break it into its elements. The psychologists also should study the mind by breaking the experiences, the conscious experiences, into their basic components. So this particular structuralism will break the aspects of the mind into various small units, and then it will study. Founder of structuralism is William Wundt. Okay. Then what William Wundt did, then what Edward B. Titchener did is this one. Then what is the basic idea of structuralism? What is a mind made of? That means mind is made of three types according to them. Sensations, that is experience that are received through sense organs. Images, the mental pictures that are formed in the mind. Example, remembering of a friend, imagining a house, recalling a classroom lecture, etc. Then the third important one is feelings. Okay, happiness, sadness, fear, anger. So the what are the main methods used by the structuralists? Introspection method. Okay, introspection is observing one's own mental processes or mental experiences. What is happening in our own mind? We will sit and we will observe. Okay. Then what are the salient features? It will study the conscious experiences. It is a conscious mental process like sensations, feelings, thoughts, and images that are happening at the present. Okay. Then analysis of the mental structure. Okay. It will break. Analysis means breaking of complex experiences into simpler components. Example, if a person is drinking tea, he will analyze what is a taste, what is a smell, is it whether it is hot, cold, or whether it is warm, what is the emotion behind drinking tea. So he will analyze every aspect. Then usage of introspection method. Okay, that is thinking inwards. Then scientific study of the mind. Okay, just like chemistry uses scientific methods, structuralists also studied this particular aspect, studied the mind in a scientific way. Okay, they used various kinds of laboratory experiments, controlled conditions, and systematic observation. Then emphasis on mental elements. Okay, that means just as atoms come from matter, sensation and feelings form the sensation and feelings arise from the mental life. Then focus on the immediate experiences, that what a person is experiencing now, right now. Then it emphasized analytical approach rather than practical approach in order to study the mind. What are the major contributions? It established psychology as a science. It was the first school which told that psychology is also a science. It introduced laboratory research. It developed introspection method. It stimulated further research. So because of structuralism only, other schools have emerged. It laid foundation for modern psychology. What are the educational implications? Importance of mental processes, importance of scientific observations, understanding the learning experiences, and it is a foundation of educational psychology. What is the criticism or the limitations? Over dependence on introspection. Then it is a subjective method. Practical applications are not there. Then it ignored practical behavior. It is not suitable for children. Okay, as children, children cannot introspect. No, they are very young. Okay, then it ignored the functions of the mind. Okay, explain in brief the functionalism school of psychology. Also explain the branches of functionalism. So we are seeing the previous question, we have seen in brief everything. Now we are seeing in detail. Okay, so functionalism emerged as a reaction for structuralism. Structuralism is mainly theory, but functionalism is practical approach. Okay, the structuralists were interested in studying the structure of the mind, that is the theoretical aspects of the mind, whereas functionalists were interested in studying of the functions of the mind, that is a practical approach. Okay, so what's the meaning of functionalism? It derived from the word function, which means purpose or use. Okay, functionalists believe that mental processes such as thinking, learning, memory, perception exist because they help individual adapt successfully to the environment. So they studied how the individual will behave in the environment. Okay, so this functionalism school will mainly study how a person will adapt to his environment. Then who are the founders? William James, then John Dewey, James Roland Angel, and Henry Carr. These are all their contributions. What are the basic principles of functionalism? Mind helps in adaptation. Okay. Then every behavior has some purpose. Example, a child will study to achieve good marks. Okay. Then learning is a useful process. It is not merely acquiring of information. It should help the individuals deal their real life situations effectively. Then psychology should study real life situations. And individual differences are important. No two person is same. Every person is different. So different in the aspect of interest, ability, intelligence, and learning speed. And education should promote adjustment. A person should adjust according to the societal norms. Otherwise, what is the use of education? Then the main concept of functionalism. It is a stream of consciousness. Okay, that means it flows. Stream. What is a stream? Stream is something that flows continuously. That in the same way, our mind also flows continuously like a river from one thought to another thought. Okay, there is continuity of thoughts. Okay, it is not made up of separate elements. Okay, whatever thoughts we experience, whatever thinking we do, it is continuous. Okay, example, while studying, the student mind may move from lesson, teacher, examination, future career. So all these are linked to one another and all these are continuous. Okay, it is a stream of consciousness. Adaptations. Mental activity will help individuals to survive and adjust in the society. Then learning through experiences. Then what are the branches of functionalism? Chicago School of Functionalism and Columbia School of Functionalism. Okay, functionalism is further divided into these two. So Chicago School is basically started by John Dewey, James Roland Angel, and Henry Carr. And the main idea of this Chicago School is adaptation to the environment. That is learning through activity, importance of practical experiences, and study of mental processes that occur in our day-to-day life. Okay. Then Columbia School, these three scientists. And the main idea of Columbia School is you have to accept the individual differences. Then there are ways to measure intelligence. Then there are various kinds of educational testing and then scientific study of learning. This is the educational contributions of functionalism. First is child-centered education, learning by doing, activity-based learning, importance of the individual differences among the students, and education for social adjustment and practical curriculum, scientific study of learning. What is the impact of functionalism? After this functionalist school came up, the education became progressive. There was experiential learning, democratic education. That means it gave importance to the voice of the students. Then problem solving approach. Then social efficiency. What are the criticism? It lacks a clear structure and it covers a broad scope. It will not deal with every small issue in detail. Then difficulty, scientific measurement. And these are the differences between structuralism and functionalism. You can go through. Okay, the next school is associationism school of psychology. Okay. So according to this associationism school of psychology, human mind does not contain knowledge at birth. So human mind is an empty slate. Okay, knowledge is gradually acquired through experiences. As the life moves on, we gain a lot of experiences and knowledge acquisition happen. Okay, these experiences get linked to one another and our knowledge will increase. So linking of the experiences is the key. That is association. Okay, linking is called association. Okay. This association mainly occurs by practice, repetition, habit formation, and memory. So, what is the meaning of association in associationism school? Connection or linkage. So, learning occurs through the formation of connection between ideas, sensation, experiences, and response. Okay. So, an example is given: a child will touch a hot vessel, and he'll feel the pain. So, after repeated experiences, the child will register that if I touch a hot object, I will have pain. So, what he will do the next time? He will avoid touching it. So, he is associating the hot vessel with pain. Okay, he is associating the pain with the hot vessel. So, he will not repeat it. Simple. Okay, major psychologists are John Locke, David Hume, David Hartley, James Mill, John Stewart. They are the pioneers of this associationism school. So, what are the basic principles? Learning occurs through association. Repetition or practice will strengthen the learning, obviously. Then, experiences is the basis of knowledge. So, you gain knowledge through the experiences that you get in the life. Habit formation is very important, and simple ideas will develop into complex ideas. So, what are the various laws of association? Law of similarity. Ideas connect to each other because they are similar in nature. Okay. For example, you make a friend. How do you make a friend? How do you connect with a friend? Because both of your ideologies are similar. So that's how an association happens. Okay, association happens because your ideas and his ideas are similar. Okay, then law of contrast. Ideas may become associated because they are opposite. Okay, similarity. If they are similar, also they will associate. If they are different, also they will associate. Okay, then law of contiguity. Ideas become associated because they occur together. Okay, school assembly song reminds students of morning assembly. Okay, law of frequency. Repeated experiences will strengthen the association. Then law of recency. That is, recently learned material is remembered more easily. What are the educational implications? It emphasizes the importance of practice and drill. Then the importance of revision. Whatever you have learned, only if you revise it, you will be able to remember it. In habit formation, it is very important for students to form good habits. Then learning through experience. Then gradual learning. That means once at LKG student cannot pass 10th class, right? In order to pass 10th class, first he has to do first class, second class, third class, fourth class. So gradually he will reach that 10th class stage. He cannot do it all at once. Very simple. Then importance of memory training. Training the mind is very important by repetition, practice, and reviewing or revising. And sequential organization of the content. Whatever we have learned, we should arrange them logically, known to unknown, easy to difficult, concrete to abstract. Then development of positive associations. Teachers should create pleasant learning experiences. That is a responsibility of the teacher. Okay, what are the contributions? Emphasized learning through experience, highlighted the importance of practice, and promoted habit formation, contributed memory research, then influenced later learning theory. So, later learning, whatever theories came up after this, are based on this association theory. So, this is the criticism. Overemphasis on memory, neglect of understanding. Okay, only rote learning is emphasized, and it ignored creativity. This is a quick revision you can go through. Then the next is behavioristic principle. How are they used in attaining desired learning outcomes? Okay, this out of all the learning schools, behaviorism has a great influence on education and classroom teaching. Okay, before emergence of this behaviorist theory, psychologists only focused on studying of mental processes like thoughts, feelings, and consciousness. However, behaviorists they argued that uh, psychology should only study whatever behavior we observe outside. Okay, because whatever we see, we can measure it and study scientifically. So these behaviorists believe that seeing is believing. Whatever we see, we have to believe. Okay, they are the major psychologists of behaviorism. So this school of psychology will study observable behavior other than what is happening internally. What we cannot uh, tell if the mental processes are right or wrong, but the behavior we are able to see it clearly in front of us, so that we have to study. What are the basic assumptions? Psychology should study the observable behavior. Learning means change in the behavior. Then environment will influence the behavior. Behavior can be modified. Reinforcement, that is giving gifts, rewards, will influence the learning. What are the major behavioristic principles? Stimulus and response principle. That means if you provide a proper stimulus, if you provide a proper force, then you will get the appropriate response. Example, teacher will ask a question, that is a stimulus, a student will answer, that is a response. Then principle of conditioning. Okay, this principle of conditioning is done by Ivan Pavlov. Learning occurs through conditioning means learning occurs through association. You associate something with a known thing, then learning will happen. Okay, this scientist Pavlov, he observed that dog salivates when food was presented. He presented food to a dog, and the dog will start releasing saliva. Okay, so whenever food comes, the dog will start releasing saliva. That means it will associate food with saliva. Okay, then after repeatedly ringing a bell presenting food, the dog eventually salivated at the sound of bell alone. That means first he gave food, then dog salivated. Then after few days, what he did is he gave the food and he started ringing the bell. Okay, then the dog associated the ringing of the bell with the food. So it started salivating. Then after few days, what he did, the third step, he removed the food and only rang the bell. Even in the absence of food, the dog started salivating. That means the dog has associated with the bell with the food. That means if the bell will ring, food will come. Then it will start salivating. So this is the famous experiment that has done by Ivan Pavlov. Okay, so I have explained all these terms in the previous slide. You can go through. Then trial and error learning. This was done by the famous psychologist Edward Thorndike. Mm, Learning occurs through repeated attempts, okay, until the correct result is obtained. So, example, a child who is learning mathematics, who is learning to solve a particular mathematic problem, will make several mistakes in the beginning to arrive at the correct answer. Then, Thorndike's law of learning, law of readiness. That means learning occurs when the person or the student or the learner is ready, physically and mentally ready or prepared. If he is not ready, he will not be able to learn. Okay, a student who is interested and motivated will learn more effectively. That means the student is ready, he will learn more effectively. Okay, then law of exercise. Practice will strengthen learning. If you don't practice, you will simply forget what you have learned. Okay, repeated writing will improve handwriting. It is an example. Then the third law is law of effect. Okay, if you get a nice satisfactory result, then you will do it more and more. Responses followed by satisfaction are strengthened. Responses followed by discomfort are weakened. If you get a bad result, you will feel happy and you will do it more and more. Okay, very simple. If you don't get the proper result or response, you will not want to do it. You will not feel motivated to do it. Then reinforcement principle, that is by B.F. Skinner. Reinforcing is anything that strengthens a particular behavior. That is, if you give a reward to a particular student, he will do it more and more. That is reinforcement. Reinforcement can be positive. That is praise, reward, certificate, good grades. Reinforcement can also be negative. That means an unpleasant condition is removed after the desired behavior. Okay. Example, so the teacher will stop giving extra practice once the student has learned that particular concept. That is negative reinforcement. Positive reinforcement is giving that particular thing. Negative reinforcement is not giving that particular thing. Simple. Then operant conditioning. He is the pioneer. B.F. Skinner is a pioneer for operant conditioning. He states that learning occurs when behavior is influenced by consequences. You face a consequence, a bad or a good consequence, and your behavior is modified according to that particular consequence. Example, a student will study hard and he will receive appreciation. So, this appreciation will be a stimulus for his future learning. That means, since people appreciated him, he will do more and more. Okay. Then, shaping principle. This also pioneer is B.F. Skinner. Complex behavior are developed gradually through reinforcement of small steps. Okay, writing sentences, writing paragraphs, writing complete essays. These can be achieved in small steps. Then principle of immediate feedback. Learning becomes more effective when feedback is given immediately. If the teacher gives feedback after 10 days, then the topic will get diluted. Okay, so correcting mistakes immediately after a test is very, very important. Then principle of motivation. Okay, so behaviorists emphasize the role of incentives and reward to motivate the students. So how behavioristic principle helps in attaining the desired learning outcomes? It helps in developing desired behaviors like discipline, punctuality, cooperation, respect. These are good behaviors. Improvement of academic improvement, effective classroom management, habit formation, skill development, remedial teaching. That means extra teaching for those children who are weak in a particular field. Then individualized learning. What are the educational contributions? Scientific study of learning, reinforcement techniques, programmed learning, then behavior modification, then mastery of learning. What is a criticism? It ignores mental processes. Okay. Okay, it is overemphasizing on the external behavior and it is not at all emphasizing on the internal processes. Then it overemphasizes external behavior and it limits creativity and learner is seen as a passive. Okay, here teacher only is the main, learner is a secondary. Uh, what is gestaltism? Explain the Gestalt school of psychology. So, Gestalt, as I have already told you, it is a German word. Okay. It is a reaction against structuralism and behavioralism. Okay. So, as I have already told you, first structuralism came, then rest all are um, reactions of one another. Okay. On basis of structuralism only, other all schools came. Okay. So, structuralists studied mental experiences by breaking them into small elements. This we know. Behavioralists focused on externally observable behavior. What Gestalt psychologists did, they argued that both neither structuralism nor behavioralism can fully explain human learning and perception. So they told both of them are wrong. So okay. So according to Gestalt psychologists, human beings do not perceive objects, events, or experiences as separate parts. Okay. They do not divide and analyze any experience as, they do not divide and analyze various experiences. Okay, what they do, they perceive them as whole. So here the word gestalt means whole. Okay, they perceive them as organized wholes. Okay, whole, complete. Okay, so the central idea of gestalt psychology is whole is greater than the sum of its parts. So they are telling one should not divide experiences into various fragments, but you have to look at it as a whole. Okay, it made significant contributions in understanding of perception, think, thinking, problem solving, and learning. Okay, what is the meaning? Gestalt means whole. It is a pattern. It is a configuration. It is an organized form. Okay. Example. If I tell you an example, you will understand what this means clearly. We see a bicycle. Okay, when we see a bicycle, we do not divide, we do not, label it as wheels, pedals, handlebars, seat individually. We call it as a cycle as a whole. We do not tell this is a wheeled cycle. We do not tell this is a seated cycle. We do not say this is a, pedal cycle. It is a cycle. Okay, we immediately recognize it as a complete bicycle. Okay, this gestalt psychology also goes on the similar lines. Okay. It is a school of psychology that emphasizes the study of behavior, perception, and learning as organized wholes. This you have to remember rather than separate elements. So these are all the German, these three, Max Wertheimer, Wolfgang Kohler, and Kofka. All these three are Gestalt psychologists. Okay. Majorly, Max Wertheimer is a founder of Gestalt psychology. Both the others are, they added to this psychology. Okay. So what are the basic principles of Gestalt psychology? Whole is greater than the sum of its parts. Then perception is organized. Okay. That means whatever sensory information our mind gets, it will organize it into meaningful patterns. Example, when we read a sentence, we perceive the meaningful words rather than the letters. See, when we say, let us take a word beautiful, we will consider that word beautiful as a whole. We will not see B, E, A. We will not see like that. Okay, we will take the meaning as a whole. Okay, learning involves understanding. Human behavior is purposeful, it is goal oriented, and it is oriented towards problem solving. What are the laws? Law of proximity. Okay, objectives that are closer tend to be perceived as belonging together. Example, students sitting together are often seen as a group. They belong, they are actually a group or they are not a group is not the matter to be considered. If they are sitting together, they are considered to be a group. Law of similarity. Objects that look alike are perceived to belong together. Law of closure. People tend to complete incomplete figures mentally. Example, if we take a circle. Example, we take a circle. Okay. The circle is like this. But in our mind, what we do? This is a circle, okay? It is like this. But in our mind, what we do, we draw a mental picture of a complete circle. Okay, in the same way, if a part of a circle is missing, we still perceive it as a complete circle. Okay, perception is different. Then law of continuity. People prefer continuous and smooth patterns. A curved line is seen as one continuous line rather than a separate segment. Okay, for example, you take a curved line. What they are telling is, we consider it as a curved line. We do not see it as separate segments like this, right? We consider it as a whole. Law, figure and ground. People distinguish an object or a figure from its background. Example, while reading, words become the figure and the pages become the background. Okay, words are considered, words are not words, words are figures and page is the background. Okay, so insight learning is one of the greatest contributions of Gestalt psychology. What is insight learning? Students understand the relationship between different parts of a problem leading to its solution. So they take parts. If a problem is there, it is divided into parts. What they do, they analyze each part and they make it, combine it together and derive a solution. So the scholar that has performed an experiment on chimpanzee named Sultan. So what he did, a banana was placed outside a cage. Several sticks were placed inside the cage. Okay, what the chimpanzee initially tried unsuccessfully to reach banana. After observing the situation, it joined the sticks together and obtained the banana. Like it put the sticks outside, it pulled the outside the cage, it pulled the banana inside and it took the banana. Okay. Learning occurs through understanding the relationship among objects rather than trial and error. That means here what has a chimpanzee done? Chimpanzee is in a cage. Okay. Outside a banana has been kept and inside the cage sticks have been placed. Okay. Initially it has not understood what it should be, what how it should take the banana, but later on what it did, it took the sticks, it put the sticks outside the cage, pulled the banana closer with the sticks and then carefully held the banana in between two sticks and brought it in the cage. Okay, so it understood the relationship between the sticks and the banana. Okay, that is what is called insight learning. Okay, learning through understanding the relationships rather than trial and error. What are the characteristics of insight learning? Sudden understanding. The solution appears suddenly. When you take the case of this chimpanzee, what has it done? Suddenly it got the idea. Okay, it did not have any previous knowledge, like it should hold the sticks like this, it should pull the banana inside. It didn't have any idea. Suddenly that idea came up in its mind based on perception of relationships. Then intelligent learning, it requires a lot of thinking and reasoning. Transfer of learning. Okay, what will it do? We have to apply the similar knowledge in to other situations also. Meaningful learning. Okay, learning is based on understanding rather than rote memorization. Okay, what are the educational implications? Learning should be meaningful. Whole to part. From bigger part, we have to come to smaller parts. Whole to part learning, and then emphasis on understanding. Problem solving approach and organization of learning materials, and it involves active participation. What are the educational implications of Gestalt psychology? It encourages meaningful learning, critical thinking, it promotes insightful learning, improves retention of knowledge. Since everything is done practically, knowledge retention is maximum in this case. Then it supports activity based teaching and it enhances creativity. What are the contributions of this Gestalt psychology? It has contributed the major one, theory of insight learning. Okay, it improved teaching methods, then advanced study of perception. It encouraged the concept based teaching and it influenced modern educational practices. What are some of its drawbacks? It places less emphasis on practice. Okay, that means practice and repetition are not given very much importance. Then difficult to apply everywhere. Not all learning can occur through insight. Suddenly you can't get knowledge, no, in all situations. Then limited experimental evidence. and does not fully explain habit learning. Next one, discuss in brief about psychoanalysis. It was developed by Sigmund Freud. He is an Austrian physician and psychologist. Um, so, um, he emphasized that human behavior is not only controlled by conscious thoughts, that is, that the present thoughts that we are having, it is also controlled by unconscious motives, desires, conflicts, and experiences. That means the thoughts which are there in the background. Okay. Conscious thoughts are there in the foreground, that is present thoughts. Unconscious thoughts are they are always there in the background. Okay. So what is the word psychoanalysis? Psych means mind and analysis means examination or study. Okay. Psychoanalysis is a scientific study and analysis of the human mind, especially the unconscious mental processes. That means those thoughts, those ideas which are going in the background, always going in the background. Okay, it is a school of psychology that explains human behavior in terms of unconscious motives, something that we do without our notice, our unconscious motives. Okay, conflicts, instincts, and past experiences. Sometimes what we do is unknowingly we bring our past experiences into the present. That is unconscious. Okay, unconsciously we bring our past incidents that happen in our life to the present situation. Okay, psychoanalysis deals about that. It is a study of how unconscious thoughts and emotions influence the human behavior. What are the basic assumptions of psychoanalysis? First, human behavior is influenced by the unconscious mind. Early childhood experiences are very, very important, and behavior is motivated by the inner forces. And mental conflicts, whatever happen in our mind, affects the external behavior. What is happening in our mind reflects outside. Okay, so Freud concepts of mind, he divided mind into three levels: conscious mind, preconscious mind, and unconscious mind. What is conscious mind? The conscious mind, it has thoughts and experiences which we are currently aware. That means the thoughts which are happening in the present. Example, reading a book. It is happening in the present and we think about it right now. Then preconscious mind is, it contains information that are not presently there in our mind, but they can be recalled easily. Example, your school name. You can, it is not right now there in my mind, but if you ask me what is my school name, I can recall it immediately within seconds and tell you. Okay, that is preconscious mind. Unconscious mind is those thoughts, those feelings, those emotions which are buried deep within us. Okay, they are not seen outside, but at the same time they form the major part of our mind. Example, repressed memories, hidden fears, unfulfilled desires, instincts, and emotional conflicts or trauma. Okay, example, you had a childhood trauma, a very bad experience in your childhood. You will not keep on recollecting every day. It will be somewhere inside you. You will not keep on, thinking about it every day. Okay, but since it is deep inside you, the every action that you do, every action that you perform will reflect the trauma. Okay, the childhood trauma which you had will be reflected in every action of yours unconsciously. That is the unconscious mind. Okay, this uh, iceberg model is an important model which has been developed by Freud. He has compared this concept of the mind with an iceberg. Okay, see, if the iceberg is a big block of ice in the water. Okay, so if the iceberg is above the water, then it is conscious mind. It is right above the water, it is the present. Then if it is just below the water, it is a preconscious mind. That means it can be taken out easily. Okay, since it is just below water, it can be taken out easily. Okay, in preconscious mind also, we can recollect very easily within seconds. Okay, then deep underwater, if the iceberg is there, then it is the unconscious mind. Okay, so this is the iceberg model. Then he has given something called as a structure of the personality. He divided the personality into three systems. First one is ID system. It is primitive, instinctive part of the personality. That means, let us see the characteristics. It is present from the birth. It seeks immediate satisfaction. This ID personality, it needs to be satisfied immediately. It operates according to the pleasure principle. It does not consider reality or morality. Okay, that means it will not observe the situations around it. It will not observe the society. It will not observe the morality. It will not follow the morality, and it will not think about the reality. It has to be done at any cost. That is the ID system. Example, hunger. You will not see the society, you will not see the people around you, you will not see whether it is the right time or the wrong time, you will not consider the reality. If you are hungry, you are hungry, you have to eat something. If you are thirsty, you have to drink water. You will not see who is around you, you will not see where are you, you will not see if the society accepts this or not, you will not see anything. If you are thirsty, you want water. In the same way, aggression, and in the same way, desire for pleasure. Okay, next one is ego. What is ego? It it considers the reality. Okay, it operates according to the reality principle. This one, ID one, it operates according to the pleasure principle. This one, reality principle. Okay, balances the demands of ID and superego. So it comes in between ID and superego. It makes rational decisions. Example, a student wants to watch television, but he has to complete the homework first. Okay, the decision reflects the ego. Okay, that means the self, the I. Okay, reality. He wants to watch television, but what is the reality? He has to complete homework. So he is considering the reality aspect here. The next one is the superego. Superego will consider morality, the social norms, whether a work that I am doing is acceptable by the society or not. Okay, it will consider everything. It will make ethical decisions, moral decisions. Based on all that, superego is there. Okay, it develops through socialization. It guides right and wrong behavior. It acts as a conscience. It will tell you whether you're doing a right thing or a wrong thing. Okay, a student refuses to cheat in an examination because he considers it morally wrong. He will think a lot before doing any particular act. That is the superego. So these are the very important concepts: ID, ego, superego. So this is a relationship between ID, ego, and superego. Then Freud's psychosexual stages of development. First, oral stage, birth to 1 year. He will use his mouth to explore variety of things like sucking, biting, feeding. Second stage is anal stage, 1 to 3 years. Okay, pleasure center. That means he will learn to control the bowel movements. An important phase of this anal stage is toilet training. Then phallic stage, okay, 3 to 6 years, he will identify male and female. He will know to identify male and female. Then latency stage, 6 to 12 years, sexual impulses become less prominent. He will know to control his desires, and focus shifts from learning to social activity. He will start abiding by the social norms. Okay, then the fifth stage is genital stage. Maturity will develop and desires will increase. Now, defense mechanism. Freud explained that individuals use defense mechanism to reduce anxiety and protect themselves from emotional conflict. That's what we usually do. We usually defend ourselves. Repression. Okay. Under this, there are four important concepts: repression, rationalization, projection, compensation. What is repression? Providing acceptable reasons for failure. Okay, if a person, like for example, if a student fails in the exam, he will put a blame on many situations, like because of this situation I failed, because of her I failed, because of him I failed. He will do a blame game. Okay, rationalization, providing acceptable reasons for failure. Okay, repression is unpleasant memories which are pushed into unconscious. Like you had a traumatic incident, you will simply push it into the past. Okay, in the conscious stage, If you had any bad experience, you will push it into the unconscious stage. Example, forgetting a painful event. The second one is rationalization, providing acceptable reasons for failures. If a student fails, he will simply shift the blame on different, because of this situation I failed, because of her I failed, because of, simply he will blame. That is rationalization. Projecting is attributing one's own feelings to others. Okay, example, a student who will dislike a teacher and he will think that the teacher dislikes him, but actually he is disliking the teacher. No, he will not understand that he is disliking, he will think that the teacher doesn't like him. Okay, so he is attributing his feelings to the teacher, he's shifting his feelings to the teacher. Then compensation, attempting to overcome weakness by excelling elsewhere. A student who is weak in sports may excel in academics. Then regression, returning to earlier forms of behavior during the stress. Okay, a child will start crying when he is upset. So very simple. What are the educational implications? Gave importance to childhood experiences, understanding individual differences, importance to emotional development and need for guidance. It will provide the need for guidance and counseling, and it will provide positive teachers. It will enforce positive teacher student relationship, and it gives importance to mental health. What are the contributions? And these are the criticisms. Criticism is difficult to verify scientifically, and overemphasis on sexual instincts. It is based on limited evidence and it underestimates social and cultural influences. Then the next question is, who are Neo-Freudians? What are the contributions of Neo-Freudians to education? So, although Sigmund Freud, he has made remarkable contributions in psychology through psychoanalysis, uh, many psychologists, they believe that his theories were incomplete. Okay, he gave excess importance to unconscious motives and sexual instincts. But other psychologists, they felt that social relationships, culture, environment, personal goals are also very important. Okay, so major neo-Freudians who argued with Sigmund Freud are Alfred Adler, Carl Jung, Karen Horney, Erik Erikson. Okay, they all are neo-Freudians. Neo-Freudians are new followers of Freud. Okay, they accepted some of the few Freud ideas, but they revised and expanded the psychoanalytic theory by emphasizing social, cultural, and interpersonal factors. Okay, so they shifted their attention from sexual instincts alone to all these all these four things: social relationships, self-development, cultural influences, and personal goals. Okay, what Alfred Adler did, uh, he developed a theory called individual psychology. Okay, he believed that human behavior is motivated primarily by the desire to overcome weakness and achieve success. So, whatever weakness we have to overcome those weakness and achieve success. So, what his main theory emphasized is inferiority feeling. So, every individual will experience some feeling of weakness or inadequacy. This is called as inferiority feeling. Example, child who is physically weak. Okay, student who performs poor in academics. Then the second concept that he has put forward is inferiority complex. Inferiority feeling is one thing, inferiority complex is one thing. That means when a feeling of inferiority becomes excessive and prevents normal development. Inferiority feeling is the starting stage, inferiority complex is the next level of inferiority feeling. That means when the inferior, that I am very low, I am weak, those feelings become intense that they prevent normal development. That is inferiority complex. So, what are the characteristics? Lack of confidence, fear of failure, low self esteem, and withdrawal from activities. Like, for example, a child is thinking, I can never succeed. That is too much. Okay, that is too much. Okay, then the next one is compensation. So, individuals will attempt to overcome the weakness through effort and achievement. This is a good sign. Okay, whatever weakness they have, they will do a lot of effort and they will overcome it. Example, a student is weak in sports. He knows that. So what he does, he will excel in studies. Then striving for superiority. So Alder believed that every individual will strive to become a better and achieve success. Okay. This striving will provide motivation for growth and development. Okay, students will work hard to improve their performance. And the fifth point that Adler has proposed is social interest. Okay, Adler emphasized cooperation and concern for others. So these are the educational implications of Adler's theory you can go through. Then Carl Jung, what he has done, he has developed a theory known as the analytical psychology. What are the main concepts of Carl Jung? Personal unconsciousness. So they have just taken Freud's concept and they have improved upon it. Okay, what is personal unconscious? Containing forgotten experiences and repressed memories unique to an individual. So every individual has his own memories in the past. Example, forgotten childhood experiences. Collective unconscious, meaning universal unconscious shared by all human beings. Okay, this is personal unconscious is particular to a particular person. It is specific to a particular person. Collective unconscious is generally in the universe. All human beings um, have certain unconscious things which are shared by all the human beings. Okay, like inherited experiences of humanity. Okay, our origins. Okay, example, common symbols found across various cultures: mother, hero, wise old man, good versus evil, like that. They're the general things. Then archetypes. Archetypes are universal patterns stored in collective unconscious. Okay, universal patterns. Okay, they are related to the universe. Okay, example, a social mark presented by a society. A society as a whole is forgetting something. That means forgetting in the sense a society as a whole is having a very bad past. Okay, major archetypes are persona, which is related to society; shadow, that means a whole group as a whole is hiding certain negative qualities; anima, feminine qualities in male; animus, masculine quality in females; self, the complete integrated personality. So these are the various archetypes. Then he told about introversion and extraversion. So introvert is a person you already know who is quiet, reflective, and reserved. Extrovert is a person who is active, social, and outgoing. An ambivert is a person who shows both the qualities. So these are the educational implications of Jung's theory you can go through. Then Karen Homey. So he emphasized on biological and sexual factors that are given by Freud. Okay, she believed that relationships and emotional security play a major role in personality development. Okay, so main concepts are basic anxiety. So it means it is a feeling of insecurity or helplessness that is experienced by children when their emotional needs are not met. Okay, very simple. If their emotional needs are not met, they feel insecure and helpless. Okay, lack of affection, excessive criticism from others, overprotection also. Okay, then neurotic needs. To cope with anxiety, what individuals do is they develop certain behaviors called as neurotic needs. Example, need for approval, need for power, okay, need for affection, and need for dependence. Okay, so some three ways to deal anxiety given by Karen is moving towards people, seeking affection and approval; moving against people, becoming aggressive and dominant; moving away from people, moving against people and moving away from people, that is withdrawal from social relationships. What are the educational implications? These are the educational implications. Then Erik Erikson, he explains Freud theory into lifespan developmental theory. What he proposed is psychosocial theory of development. Okay, this is one of the most important theory. What is the main idea of this theory is personality develops throughout the life through a series of psychosocial crises. Okay, successful resolution of each crisis will lead to healthy development. So each stage there is a certain crisis, that is there is a requirement for something. Okay, so if you keep full at every stage, if you keep fulfilling these crises, if you find a solution for each of these crises, then you will become a healthily developed individual. So Eric Erikson, this is very, very important for any competitive exams. Please remember this. First one, trust was Eric Erikson stage of Eric Erikson 8 psychosocial stages. First is trust versus mistrust stage. That is from birth to first year. People generally question, can we trust this world? Okay. Positive outcome, if it is positive, then they will trust. If it is negative, then they will not trust. That is mistrust. Stage 2 is autonomy versus shame and doubt. 1 to 3 years. That means, can I do things independently? That is autonomy. Okay, positive outcome, if he does it independently, if he succeeds, then it is autonomy. If he doesn't succeed, then he will develop shame and doubt. Then initiative versus guilt. 3 to 6 years. You should remember these ages also. Years. Can we take this initiative? If it is positive, if the initiative that the person has taken up is positive, yields positive results, then he will continue taking up further initiatives in his life. He will initiate many things. If he doesn't, if it fails, then guilt. Industry versus inferiority. Okay, industry, this is very important for teachers. Can I succeed and achieve? If it is positive, then he will develop industry. That means he will try to do more and more things. Then, if it doesn't work out, then he will develop inferiority. Okay. Then, stage number 5 is identity versus role confusion. Who am I? If the answer that the person gets is good, then he will develop an identity that I am this. If he doesn't get an answer, then he will be confused. This is very important for adolescents. Stage 6, intimacy versus isolation. This is during the young adulthood. If intimacy is good, he will proceed with it. If intimacy is not good, if he's not able to make good relationships, he will remain isolated. Okay. Then seventh one, generativity versus stagnation. This is in the middle adulthood. Generativity is doing something productive. Okay. So if goes on well, then the person will become generative. If it doesn't go, he will become dull, demotivated, and his knowledge gets stagnated. It will be wherever it is. Okay, that means that is stagnation. Then integrity versus despair. This occurs in the old age. If it is positive, then the person will be then integrity will happen. If the outcome is negative, then the person will remain despair. Despair means I'm not able to do anything, such kind of feelings. So these are the educational implications and these are the contributions of Neo-Freudians. Okay, you can go through all this comparison of major Neo-Freudians, whatever they gave. And this is a conclusion and quick revision for your it will be very useful for you all. Then look, last question is right about humanistic school of psychology. What are the assumptions of the school? So it is a reaction against behaviorism and psychoanalysis. Okay, behaviorism, it focused on the external observable behavior. Psychoanalysis, it dealt with the internal processes. Okay, it developed with unconscious conflicts and emotional disturbances. Humanistic psychology felt that both approaches are incomplete pictures of human being. Okay, they are not merely controlled by external stimuli or unconscious force. Instead, people possess free will, that is, they can do whatever they want, creativity, self awareness, and the ability to grow and achieve in their fullest potential. Okay, for this reason, humanistic psychology is often called as a third force in the psychology. Okay, third force in the psychology is the humanistic school. It focuses on the whole person as a whole, holistic development of the person, emphasizing on personal growth, self development, dignity, and self actualization. What is the meaning of humanistic personality? It comes from the word human. It emphasizes human values, personal worth, that is what we are, and individual potential. So, humanistic psychology is a school of psychology that focuses on human potential, self development, free will, personal growth, and self actualization. So, Abraham Maslow and Carl Rogers are pioneers of this humanistic psychology. What did Abraham Maslow tell? Hierarchy of needs. Okay, what is a hierarchy of needs? First, physiological needs. You have to remember these in the same order. Okay. He told that the lower needs must be satisfied before the higher needs. Okay. First, the lower needs should be satisfied. The higher needs are last. First, physiological needs, air, food, water, sleep. Then safety needs, physical safety, emotional safety, and stable environment. Then love and belongingness, friendship, family support, peer acceptance. Then esteem needs, that means need for respect, recognition, and achievement. Self-actualization need, that means realizing one's own potential. Okay, creative, independent, responsible, self-confident. Okay, this is a diagram of Maslow's hierarchy. Then the next one is Carl Roger. He gave person-centered theory. Okay, he emphasized learner-centered education, and he believed that every individual will possess a capacity for growth and self-improvement. Okay, what are the important concepts? First, self-concept. That means a way a person views himself. Am I intelligent? Am I good at science? Like that. Self-actualization, like Maslow, Roger believed that individuals will strive towards growth and fulfillment. Then unconditional positive regard. Okay, this is one of the most important one. That means accepting and valuing a particular person without any conditions. Unconditional love we call. That is unconditional positive regard. Empathy. Understanding one other person's feeling by standing in his shoes. Okay. Understanding another person's feeling and what that person is going through. Okay. Very important for teachers. Okay. Empathy. Then learner-centered education. Then assumptions of humanistic psychology. Humans are basically good. Okay. All humans are good. Then every individual is unique with respect to abilities, interests, needs, and experiences. People have free will. Individuals can make their own choices and decisions. They cannot be controlled. Human behavior is goal oriented. Self actualization is the highest goal. Okay, you have to remember this. What is the highest goal? Self actualization. Then personal experience is very, very important. Learning should be meaningful and growth is a lifelong process. What are the characteristics? Emphasis on focus on the person as a whole. Emphasis on human potential. Importance of self development. Positive view of human nature. Emphasis on personal responsibility. What are the educational implication? Learner-centered education, respect for individual differences, positive classroom environment, importance of motivation, development of self-confidence, promotion of creativity and holistic development. Okay, so these are the limitations. Their concepts are very difficult to measure scientifically, and overly optimistic view of human nature. That means it considers every human as good. Okay, that is over optimism. Then less attention to biological factors and some concepts lack exact definitions. So I hope I'm clear. If you have any doubts, please message to me in the comment section. And if you want any improvisations in my explanations or any further explanations also, please write in the comment section. I will see, and I will definitely see a way to reach out to you all. Thank you.